Welcome everyone, I'm Navids, representing my esports team, the Sploush Troupe, and once again today this video is brought to you on behalf of Gamers Class. Alright everybody, today's guide is on Offlane Venomancer, and I will be using Immortal Faith's guide. I would change nothing about it because I've used it a few times. I like it, I like the build-up. There is absolutely nothing I would really like to change. So let's go ahead and talk about it. We're going to be starting with items, spells, talents, then we're going to go on, watch a little bit of a game, and then we're going to talk about deviations and hero considerations. So Offlane Venomancer, which items are you going to buy? First off, we're going to get 2 sets of tangos, 2 iron branches, a circlet, and double fairy fire. Now, the reason we're getting double fairy fire is one, because he has low base damage. Venomancer has very low base damage. This gives you +2 damage. It helps you secure some last hits. And also because Venomancer's weakest point in his game is actually his early game. So this fairy fire, the extra 85 health, can really turn around a fight for somebody who's ticking down from poison damage. You do a lot of poison damage over time, but they need time to die. So you need time to be alive to tick them down a little bit longer. And this fairy fire can be your instant regen. There is a 5-second refresh time between usages, so if you use one, you have to wait 5 seconds before you can use the other, but a lot of the times this will be enough to save Venomancer. I know it's been enough for myself. Now, the early game, you are going to send yourself a salve early because, like I said, Veno is very weak in the early levels, the 1, 2, 3 levels. He's not super strong, especially level 1 when you only have poison sting. If there is a stun combination that you're dealing with in lane, be careful early. Okay, so you send yourself a salve, and then you're going to want to build your circlet into a bracer. The reason you want to build into a bracer is because you want the HP regen, you want the strength for health. That's really it. If you can stay alive as Veno, then your chances of winning the lane are significantly higher. Like, just be alive, and the poison damage that you put out is going to be crazy. Next, you're going to go boots, wand, and arcane boots. I do like this. If you're against a lot of magic damage, throw in the raindrop. You can also get more basic items. I like how he has these basic items down here. Actually, I didn't notice that yet. But anyway, get more basic items. The arcane boots really help you when you're able to get them with the harassment and sustaining of plague wards. And we'll talk about the build in a second. Okay, so that's kind of like the early build up. Now what you're going to do for your core items, your first item, and this is really how I like to play this, honestly, is you're going to go Guardian Greaves. Second item, and I've been finding this is true in more games than not, there is a strong right-click physical damage core that I'm dealing with, and Heaven's Halberd is so good. First off, it gives you 20% evasion, so you take less right-click damage. It gives you 20% status resistance, higher chance of staying alive versus spells, and it also gives you the disable. It does cost more than it did before with the 400 gold recipe, but I still like it in the build. Then your next item, this is dependent on how the game is going. These ones are all really game dependent. You can get the Agnum Scepter, which upgrades your ultimate and makes your Poison Nova do significantly more damage. Blink Dagger to blink into the middle of a fight, Poison Nova everybody. And then you can get a Shiva's Guard, blink in the middle, Poison Nova, Shiva's Guard. You're doing tons of damage. Good items to consider as well. A Veil of Discord is pretty cheap, increases the amount of magic damage that people take. You do a lot of magic damage. Veil of Discord's not bad. I would rather have it on your position 4 if possible, but you know, you can switch it up. Sometimes I go for the Atos if there's heroes I need to lock down. If there's like an Ember or maybe even a Sven that I want to keep not moving, or like any type of hero that I want to keep in place, that's when I'll consider a Rod of Atos. It does give you 10 strength, 10 agility, and 20 intelligence as well, so it's pretty strong with the root as well. BKB if you're up against a lot of spells, and then obviously your Lincolns or your Scythe, Bloodthorn, and Lincoln, Scythe, Bloodthorn, Pipe. These are kind of game dependent. You know, if you're up against the Legion commander and you're getting dueled a lot, you probably want to get a Lincoln's. If you're up against somebody, if you're going super late game, you either want to get Scythe or Bloodthorn, most likely a Scythe. If you're up against tons of magic damage and nobody else is a Pipe builder, then that'll be you. You can even go Pipe instead of Heaven's Halberd, depending on what the lineups are like. And Force Staff is also really good. Force Staff is kind of like, you can kind of think of it like a blink, like you can Force Staff forward and then Poison Nova everybody, or you can use it to escape after a Poison Nova. You can Poison Nova and then just shoot out of a battle, out of a dangerous position. Lotus Orb is nice to throw in to save your cores usually as well. So these are all really good offlane items. I like the build up here. Let's talk about spells. I really like this build. I've tried it a few times. I really like it. So you're gonna go, and it's kind of unique. It's not the way that normal spells are kind of built up on a offlane hero. We're gonna go Poison Nova, then we're gonna go Venomous Gale, and then we're gonna go Poison Nova. We're gonna Poison Sting, Venomous Gale, Poison Sting again. So Poison Sting is the tick damage. You want to be hitting the enemy team heroes, especially the cores, often, so they're taking a lot of tick damage. Now the thing that's really important about it is the slow is important, and the damage per second increases a lot from level 1 to 2. So you go from 6 to 14, so that's more than double. It's more than double, and it lasts for 9 seconds, so that's really effective. If you look at the way that it scales, the best transition for it is from levels 1 to 2, is from 6 to 14. So that's why you want to put 2 points in it. The slow is really good, and 1 point in Venomous Gale, because this spell is just so good for early kills. You get a 50% slow, you go do a lot of damage per tick, a lot of initial damage. It's just a very powerful killing spell. If you land your Venomous Gale, you're probably going to get a kill if the enemy is on the back step, if they've overextended or something. Now your next 4 points are going to go straight into Plague Wards until you get them to level 4, where they have 450 HP. This is not an easy ward to kill. They last for 40 seconds, and they are the way that you position yourself in the game. Your wards are kind of your positioning. You place them in parts of the jungle or parts of the map that other people can that parts of the map that are dangerous. So let's say you're pushing a mid tier 2 tower with your team. Hypothetically, you're going to put your wards on high ground cliffs. You're going to put them on top, like any area. Even if your ward dies, you don't care, because what they'll do is they'll give you vision of high grounds. They'll reveal anybody who's going to come, and they'll stop initiators with blinks. That's the most important thing. People who are coming in with blinks, like let's say Axe or a Mars or something, they're trying to come in there and catch one of your cores out. Your ward is going to hit them once, and they're going to be taking tick damage and not going to be able to blink, and that's really good for you. So that sucks for those cores, great for you. Now level 8, we are going to get Poison Nova, 1 point in it, and then we're going to finish off Poison Sting. So when we get up to level 11, we'll have Poison Sting. At level 10, we're going to take the -6 second Venomous Gale cooldown, because honestly it is really good, and it's going to synergize with our level 15 talent. We'll talk about that in a second. The Poison Nova we take at 8, 12, and 18. So Poison Nova basically is exactly what it sounds like. It's a Nova around you, exactly like a Shiva's Guard, that does a ton of poison damage. It is super good for AoE damage. If you hit somebody with a Venomous Gale, they're Poison Sting, Poison Nova, and you chase them down with wards, most people, especially position 4 and 5 heroes, are going to have a very hard time surviving. A lot of the times they'll have to teleport back to base, and that's actually also why Rod of Atos is sometimes really good, because you can cancel teleportations. Okay, talents. I want to talk about the level 15 talent, because it synergizes with our level 10 talent. Gale Hero Impact summons 2 wards. What that means is if you hit somebody with Venomous Gale, next to them will spawn 2 Plague Wards. And these Plague Wards, so let's say there's 3 heroes in range of each other, you're going to spawn 6 450 HP wards that do 40 damage per hit right in front of them all. That is so hard to play into. First off, they have to have crazy attack speed to get rid of them, or they have to have BKBs around you. Like, you basically need BKBs to play around Veno. Let's take a look at our level 20 talent. We're going to take plus 5-second poison Nova duration because it's better than the spell lifesteal. Honestly, 12% spell lifesteal. Like, hell, if you really want your spell lifesteal, buy a voodoo mask. Level 25, 2.6 times plague ward HP / damage. So your plague wards are just going to be so hard to kill, and you're going to be spawning them like crazy with your venomous gale. You're going to be putting them down all the time, and they already last for 40 seconds. The plus 15-second plague ward, sometimes you think about taking that, but really it doesn't help that much. You're probably not sitting around. Those extra 15 seconds aren't gonna make that much of a difference most of the time. The minus 6-second gale cooldown in combination with the hero impact summons wards is really good. The minus 10% poison slow sting, now that is also, like, that's definitely something to be considered. That's a 25% slow. So if you really want and to be annoying, you can go for this build. You can go for the 15-second plague ward, the minus 10% poison slow sting. However, I've tried both of them. I really like this this current one better. So now we will watch a bit of a Veno game to see how Venomancer will play in the off lane and try to win a lane. All right, I'm looking forward to this game because we are going to watch actually one of my favorite players and one of the first players I watched play Venomancer in the offlane. Actually, I'm pretty sure it was the first. Kezu. He is on Team Crazy, and he's a very good player. So I think the first person I saw do a build like this build that I'm suggesting was Kezu. He's going to have some alterations to it, some adjustments. First thing you'll notice is that instead of getting double Fairy Fire, he has a Healing Salve 3 tangos. Now that is going to come, that's going to be important in a second. We have to think about the lane that he's in. We got to look at his matchups and stuff, but you're going to see that this game he has like the perfect adjustments and perfect play style based on who he's playing against. He hits really good timings. He gets good mid-game items, things to keep him alive and safe, all that good stuff. He does it perfectly. So we're gonna learn from Kezu here. Now it's a Venomancer and a Pudge against a Disruptor and a against a Disruptor and a Riki in the safe lane. Now Disruptor and Riki are really dangerous heroes. There's Glimpse and there is the Thunderstrike coming out of Disruptor, so that's a lot of damage. So what Veno wants to do is try to keep these creeps far away from the Riki so he can get the last hits. Notice right now he pulled back these creeps so they come here, and he has the ability to get these 2 last hits. That's important to do these kind of things. His wave is still going to come forward. They're going to meet a little bit higher up. Let's speed this along. They're going to meet a little bit higher up around here. Whoops, let's go back 10. They're gonna meet around, so they're gonna meet around here, but what's gonna actually happen is that it's a little bit farther, so the Veno can get easier farm, and now he's pulling the melee creeps onto the range creep. He's being attacked by 2 heroes right now. This is level 2 timing, and this is where Riki and Disruptor need to be very aggressive, and we're gonna see his Fairy Fire pay off. He popped his Fairy Fire, and now he's using his salve so he can come right back to lane. He backpacks his items that give him additional health, so he doesn't have so he has less health while he's using them, and then when he turns it back, or when they activate again, he's back to normal health with more HP than he would have had if he just had salved. So there we go. Now he has Gale. He just hit level 2, or he hit level 2 recently, and he uses Gale. He wants to use it at least once because he's basically full on mana with just Poison Sting. You don't want to sit on full mana, and you don't really want to have a level 1 Plague Ward at that point. And here we see Pudge trying to make a play on Riki, but he might have actually pulled him into his own death. Nope, he's able to stay alive. So Pudge getting the hook off but not getting the kill. Riki is going to need to regen, does not have a salve, neither does Disruptor, so that makes it a little bit harder for them to lane, and he's going to be taking a lot of tick damage as well. So we see a lot of creeps being pushed towards the Riki. The Veno is going to get these last hits as he can, bring his wave back up here while Riki's forced to last hit under tower. So this is good for Veno. We're going to speed this up just a tiny bit so we can get a little bit farther into the game a little bit quicker. We see Pudge with a nice pull, and we see Veno with a completed bracer. So this bracer is really important. Like I said, it gives you the HP regen and lets you survive against these kind of things. There is a lot of damage coming in, so instead Veno is just going to die. He got caught in the kinetic field. They traded. Veno and Pudge ended up killing the disruptor before they got the kill, so all the experience went to Riki, but still Veno and Pudge still managed to get a kill there. So it's not all terrible. It's just a trade of the lane, I would say, at this point. Obviously it's better not to die, but if you're gonna die, at least you get a kill for it. All right, Veno's back, and he has some more tangos, and he's completed a magic wand. He's gonna want a magic wand. Is pretty early. I don't know. I think maybe getting a stick and a raindrop would have been better than completing the whole wand here. But still, he will eventually get the raindrop, I'm pretty sure. But the magic wand, I understand why he wants it. There's a lot of spells that get cast. There's 2 blink strike charges, and then there's tricks of the trade. So that's 3 charges on wand. And then our disruptor is going to cast thunder strike and kinetic field. So that's another 2. So for all of whatever their combo is, that's 5 charges on wand, 15 health and mana times 5. You get yourself a nice chunk of your health back, like a chunk of your health back off of one combo. It's not so bad, and he's keeping his health nice and high with the tango usage. Now he is flying himself out. Who is this? That's Pudge. Never mind. I thought Veno was flying himself out another item, but he's not yet. Anyways, let's continue, and we'll watch from his perspective. And we're going to see how he starts playing with these plague wards. So he does have plague wards now, and look at what he is doing. This is what you're supposed to do. So in the off lane here, he's putting pressure on the Riki, but he's also farming this camp with his plague wards, and you can easily do this. Oof, the dodge by Riki. Is he going to get the kill? Does get the kill. Okay, so this is a couple important things. One, plague wards are really, really good for blocking directional movement. So if Riki was trying to go through these trees or something, you put your plague ward right here and you stop Riki from going into the trees. Really good strategy. 2, nice hook. 2, you should also deny your plague wards. When they get down low, they give more gold and experience than they did in the past, so you should be denying them. We're gonna see we're actually going to see Riki deny the disruptor. But what I wanted to talk about was particularly over in this lane, there's 2 trees. This tree right here is the big one right here. If you cut this tree, which is usually cut, the supports usually use this tree as an escape mechanism walking through here against Veno. So let's say you were in the off lane here playing against this Arc Warden, your support would come through this way. Your Veno can come up here, you as Veno can come up here and block his path of retreat by putting a ward where the tree would be, and you'll see Veno do that, or good Venos do that. And now we actually see our Venomancer go down, so we're going to speed up a little bit till he's back. But see what he's doing. He's being very intelligent in where he places his wards, what he wants to do on this side of the map in particular, because the camp is so close to the lane, is place his wards right around here. So if he hits this creep camp, the creeps will follow him back. They won't target his ward. They'll aggro him, and then they'll come all the way back here. The only way the creeps will destroy the ward by itself is if the ward is in range of the creep camp to hit the creeps, and the creeps don't have anyone else to actually go on. Now, Veno has decided to take 3 points in Poison Sting because he doesn't think that they're taking down his wards fast enough. And at level 6, he does take Poison Nova. He took Poison Nova because that was a situation where he needed it right away. A lot of the times this lane will get abandoned, and a lot of the times the lane will get abandoned so you can put more points in Plague Ward. The other thing we want to take a look at is that he went for an early game Urn and Infused Raindrops. So Urn I didn't include in the list. That is an item that gets picked up a lot on Veno, but I wouldn't consider it one of the primary items. And look at the variation that he's going with here. He's actually going to build his mechanism before he builds his arcane boots. Most people would go for the arcane boots, but his mechanism is actually going to end up being extremely productive for him in terms of picking up the timing that he picks up the item. Also, you're gonna see that since he's low HP, what he's gonna do is fly himself, let's see, a healing salve and a clarity, and instead of going back to base, he's coming here to farm this jungle camp. So he farms the jungle camp. He does a little bit of damage to this ancient. If this was not those black dragons, he would have probably been able to kill the ancient camps, but the dragon camp is really hard to take, so he's not able to. Now he comes forward, he puts a ward on the high ground. Really great place to put the ward because it gives you vision of anyone trying to gank you in this area. High ground wards for Venomancer are really good, and we're gonna see his ward positioning or his ward placement is awesome throughout this whole game. He's basically always putting his wards in good spots, and now he sees something happening top and he's decided, all right, I'm not going to play against Riki anymore. I'm going to come take this off lane. They've probably talked about it as a team. Arc Warden wants to go farm a different part of the map. Top might be too dangerous, so Veno's going to go take the more dangerous place to play, and that's where they're putting a lot of pressure. And he is going to be pushing top now instead. So top lane, you can consider Veno's lane, and look where he puts his wards. He doesn't put it right in the creep wave. He puts it to the side here, so he can do two things. If he pulls this creep camp this way, which he probably will, he can start having multiple. He can have multiple Veno wards hit these creeps. He's not going to pull it up here because he also wants to keep pushing this, but he's basically going to position himself so he can take this camp multiple times. While also keeping the pressure on this tower, keeping it pushed forward. He's not worried about dying. This is only a level 4 Windrunner right now. He's putting his wards really far aggressively forward, has 4 points in poison sting, so he's not thinking that they're going to be taking down his wards very often. Instead of worrying about his wards dying, he wants to be doing more damage to the enemy team, and Disruptor doesn't want to be hitting these wards. It takes him 4 hits plus an uphill miss, so 4 hits to destroy 1 ward worth only 17 gold at this moment. Yeah, they're worth 15, 17, 19, 21 gold as they go up in levels. So right now it's only 17 gold, and you see him keeping them also outside of tower range, but this one is behind the tower. So because it's behind the tower, unless they have vision of it, the tower won't attack that ward. And now he's just going to keep them basically out of tower range, always a high ground ward, and he's going to go back here and keep taking this camp. So he can take the camps, he can take the creeps, and just get his farm up really quickly. So as you can see, he's not too far from having a mechanism. Riki is here playing on the top lane. He's trying to steal some of his farm, but this is a tough place for Riki to be as well. And he's actually getting ganked pretty hard here. So they use the static storm. They're pretty much using everything. I'm almost sure they're gonna kill Veno, no? All right, well, they cast every spell on him, and he's fighting to the death, trying to do some damage to our boy Riki, not able to kill him. The false promise wears off, and Kazu dies, unfortunately. So a death for Kazu, still keeping so much pressure top. Multiple heroes are forced to rotate. They had to commit a lot of people up here, and all this time our friendly Arc Warden is having an easy time farming this triangle here. So we don't want you. This is another really good thing that you'll see in high level games. Arc Warden's like, hey Veno, you're strong right now, I'm kind of weak, can you do me a favor? Yeah, Arc Warden, what's the favor that you want? Could you please come take the really hard lane with your strong hero? You can bully them out or make them have a hard time, and I'll take all that easy farm in the triangle that nobody's occupying. And that's exactly what we're seeing here. So he gets double Midas off, and it's all good. Now Veno is back top. He has just about enough gold for his mechanism, which is coming right up. And we see multiple heroes still here. Riki's trying to get away, does get hit with the Venomous Gale, and he's probably going to tick down. He's definitely going to die at least. And now they're going to try to hurt Venomancer, but Veno has 1100 HP. He has the urn. He gets another charge on the urn, also has the headdress and the buckler. So extra armor, extra HP regeneration for every one of his allies. The bracer is big, 12 charges on his wand. even though Veno's a squishy hero, he's building so he's harder to kill. So this isn't a very easy to go on hero, you know, especially if you're somebody like a Windrunner, because Windrunner will take that poison damage if he pops his ulti, if he has it up, pops his ulti, pops a Gale, gets one poison sting. That's super high amounts of damage against somebody like a Windrunner. That Windrun won't save you. It'll only really save you from physical attacks. All that poison damage is going to keep ticking. All right, and now we're going to see Veno make his way towards mid. And the reason he's making his way towards mid is because you see his courier right here with the mech. So because his courier has the mech, they're saying, hey, let's make a play for mid tower as a team. Our Arc Warden will keep doing what Arc Warden does. Get your Mjolnir or Maelstrom first, and I will start to fortify our defenses. I'm putting down plague wards on our high ground, on the low ground. We're gonna make them have a hard time here. Pudge gets a nice hook off. The ultimate goes down. Now look at this. Pops the mechanism, keeping himself alive. Also giving Pudge the health to stay alive. Pudge gets the hook off. Slark is barely, nope, he's gonna die as well, and the only casualty for them right there is Pudge, but it also puts them in position to keep pushing forward. So this is why Venomancer decided to come mid. It was based on this really fast item timing. The only reason he had an item timing this fast is because he forewent the arcane boots, which most people would go for, and instead of now they're taking the mid tower. So now that the mid tower is gone, this is a big deal against this team, or against a Venomancer in particular, because Veno can start playing forward and aggressive on your side of the map. He can take this camp, he can take this camp, he can put wards here, he can put wards here, and you're going to see him do exactly that. He'll have a high ground ward basically on every cliff that's possible. So anybody that tries to walk by, you're going to get hit by a Veno ward. And he's going to keep pushing the waves forward, making all of this space for Arc Warden. All Arc Warden wants to do right now is get Maelstrom, Boots of Travel, turn that Maelstrom into a Mjolnir, and then get some kind of high damage item or control item to kill off supports in the back lines. While Veno, all he wants to do is make sure that these guys aren't having an easy time getting any farm themselves. Riki's forced to be in the top lane. There's not a lot of available farm for him, and our Veno is going to finish off the Guardian Greaves next. So essentially the same build that we were going through with the addition of the Urn of Shadows, because I mean, why not? He made a good call getting it. Needed a little bit of mana regeneration, gives you 2 all attributes, 2 all armor, but also the soul release is really good as an active. Ooh, I missed this. I wanted to point it out. Now this is something that's really interesting. If you get glimpsed against the Disruptor, you can still cast all your spells and then you get glimpsed back. So Disruptor did bring him back mid, but he came over there for a quick second, casted his Gale, casted a ward, did some damage. And if he would have had his Poison Nova up, he would have been able to cast that as well the second he saw the glimpse going off. So the glimpse against the Disruptor, while it is not good to teleport in vision of a Disruptor because that'll happen, it's still not the worst thing in the world, just because you can usually get most of your damage off. Now, still fortifying the position, playing around his wards. You see how he's playing behind them? These wards make it so he can't be initiated on. And they don't even have heroes who have like super good, or who have blink initiations. If we were playing against an Axe or whatever, Axe would hate his life right here. He'd be like, what do I do? I'm just an Axe. And now he has Poison Nova up. He's saving it for a little bit. He wants to see if he can get multiple heroes with it. Slark is in here doing a lot of damage. Doesn't want to use Poison Nova only on Slark, because Slark can gain health faster than he loses it if he's out of vision with his Shadow Dance. And now wards will help him find where Slark is. Uses Gale again. By the way, Gale is a really hard spell to hit. I think I mentioned that, but for those of you who don't know, Gale is a hard spell to hit sometimes. It's fast how quickly it comes out. And now we're seeing Veno just dominate the lanes. Dominate the map, not the lanes. He has dominated the lanes, but he's also dominating the map. He's making sure that wherever the Radiant team wants to play, they can't play easily. And he's farming multiple camps at the same time always. You see that he pulls them back, then he walks back and forth, hitting multiple creeps at the same time. So these ones are going to go down. He's going to take these. He is not putting his wards, by the way, inside of the camps. This is something you don't want to do, because your wards will block the respawning of these camps, so don't do that. Mid wave, we see him being very aggressive because he has the Guardian Greaves. So now the Greaves are popped. He also uses his Poison Nova, gets it on 2. We're going to see them start to tick down. The Disruptor is being hurt. He has the Soul Release on him, and Disruptor is going to go down in a second. No chance of living. Oh, yes, he does. He has the Glimmer Cape. Not enough. Glimmer Cape with the 45% magic resistance, still not enough. That is sad. Guardian Greaves have almost replenished, but not fast enough. Oracle goes down. I guess Oracle and Disruptor are trading for themselves. Now we're going to see the next item he wants to get. He's thinking about going for a Yule's, and that's pretty interesting. I like the idea, but I know that he switches it up this game. Yeah, he goes back and he decides to get the Heaven's Halberd instead. All right, that's good. Now, the neutral item that he just got, or that he has coming to him, is the Nether Shawl. This is probably one of the better items that you can get for yourself. -3 armor, but 8% spell damage. 8% spell damage when you do as much damage as you do is really, really nice. You see him teleporting over here to save Arc Warden. He pops his Greaves, unable to save him, but he's doing a lot of damage to Slark. We'll see if Slark gets away. He actually does, and that's pretty unfortunate for them. So in this position, he's kind of... So right now, he's basically in a position where he's at the bottom part of the map. He's just got to get whatever farm he can, because he doesn't really want to be here. Like, his team doesn't want to be here. They wanted to make or keep Arc Warden alive and make space for him. They're forced into a fight, and they end up killing Slark, which is really good. Riki's farming top. They know that, so they're feeling safe. Now they're going to push a little bit. At least Veno is. And you can always push a little extra hard with your wards by just putting them in these creep waves. If your wave is pushing forward, you put wards down, and if anyone counter pushes you, then they counter push you. Now, actually, Veno did go for something interesting here. He went for the other build on the talent tree. I didn't know this. I didn't know that he was doing this. He went for the 15-second plague ward duration and the 10% poison sting slow. Pretty cool. You can tell you'll see how much slower the heroes are who get hit by poison sting. It's a 25% slow. That is big time slow. That's like, I can't move type slow. I need BKB type slow really badly. And it's going to make it really hard to play around these positions. Now he puts the ward on the high ground here. He doesn't really care if the ward goes into their camps, because he doesn't care about blocking the enemy camps that much. He's not going to be farming those. In fact, sometimes blocking the enemy camps is good. Now he puts one ward behind the tower, or sorry, behind the tree line, so if anybody TPs here, that he can see it. He's going to put another one probably on the high ground. Not yet. Oh, yep. Nope. Teleporting. Oh, there's a fight going down. All right, comes back for the fight, casts the Poison Nova, gets it on 3, using the Soul Release. So much damage going out. 1 death. Let's see, is he going to be able to kill Riki as well? The kill goes to Oracle, but that was basically Veno's kill. And 1 more kill for Venomancer. So he basically got 3 kills with that teleportation and Poison Nova usage. Now with 3 cores dead, we'll see how he plays it. Again, please pay attention to how much he's farming multiple camps as he's walking between the jungle. You can also, in situations like this, for newer players who have Guardian Greaves and are afraid to use them when you need mana, you can use them like Arcane Boots. You see he just does it right there. It also heals up his creep wave. If you know you just fought and the enemy team is dead for a long period of time, or even like 20 seconds, maybe not even a long period of time, go ahead and use your boots. Don't worry about conserving them. They're a 40-second cooldown. Your Arcane Boots are a 60-second cooldown. It's a huge difference. So feel free to use those boots, guys. Yeah. All right, so now he's just playing safely. He knows he can't be on these parts of the map. This is a very hard Veno game when you think about who he's playing against. He's playing against the Silence from the Bloodseeker. He's playing against a Slark who has a Silver Edge and is hunting him on the map. Like, Veno is a perfect hunting target. He is playing against a Riki who has Blink Strike. He's playing against a Wind Ranger who could shackle him, and a Disruptor who can Static Storm and Kinetic Field him. There's a lot of threats for him this game. This would typically not be an easy Veno game, but Veno is very, very strong right now in the meta, even with his nerfs. That He's strong enough that you can pick him in pretty much most games. Look at him being hyper aggressive here on the other side of the map. He knows that Bloodseeker is dead. These guys are trying to make a play against him, but here comes his team for reinforcements. 4 seconds on his Poison Nova. You'll see that he does. Is he gonna Gale him? Yeah. Oh, sorry, he already hit him with the Gale, and now he's hit with the Soul Release. Pops his Guardian Greaves, and we'll see him get vision with his ward. You see he places it on the high ground. He didn't place it like right here. He placed it on the high ground, so if Disruptor was anywhere in this area, they would see him, and that was really nicely played. Kunkka has the Agnum Scepter, and this is where things are going to just really fall out of control for the Dire squad. Veno is pushing on the high ground with multiple heroes dead. They're gonna be pushing this this tower, and Veno is gonna have a little bit of time here to set up wards in this area of the map. So he can set them up here, he can set them over here, he can basically put them anywhere. He can basically put them everywhere and anywhere that he thinks an enemy might come from, and position his team so they're able to take this mid tier 2 tower. Excuse me. Slark is going to be alive now, and we're going to see another fight break out. He's going to try to keep the Pudge alive. Does have the Guardian Greaves off cooldown in a couple seconds, and a completed Heaven's Halberd. So there he is, keeping his whole team alive with Guardian Greaves, the tick damage, the wards. He's basically fortifying a position, and this is what you want to be doing throughout the whole game. We saw him do it earlier mid, and now we're seeing him do it here again. We saw him do it top as well. Is basically fortify a position with wards, place them aggressively, place them in areas that will make sure that you're able to take this tower without them easily being able to initiate or come in to fight you. And Arc Warden is so strong now, has the Mjolnir, and is gonna get a what next? A Hurricane Pike. I like it. Well, we're also gonna see the Venomancer going for a 4-step for the same reason that Arc Warden's going for the Hurricane Pike. It's because one of the only ways that Veno is gonna die this game is in Riki's Cloud. If he's in Riki's Cloud, he takes a ton of damage and he's more susceptible to death. So he's got the 4-staff to save, to 4-staff in Poison Nova, to get out of Riki's Cloud. It's a good 4-staff game, and you can see here, right here, he's also able to cast a lot of spells on Slark, even though Slark is has used Shadow Dance, and they're getting, this is it, they're just making the plays, they're getting everything go down. He has the plus 5 second Poison Nova duration right now, so this game is basically over at this point. I'm pretty sure Slark is done playing. Yeah, this game is finished, and we've seen Venomancer just explode in farm. If we take a look at how many last hits he has more last hits than his Arc Warden. Wow, I'm surprised at how many last hits Kunkka ended up getting. That's really impressive. Kunkka has quite a few last hits as well, but he has been farming all game. Would have finished it off with a Agnum Scepter next. He's deciding to go with the Agnum Scepter instead of the 4-staff because they've won the game and Riki's not a hero. But that is our game, guys. Hopefully you learned a little bit from Kezu playing Venomancer. All right, I am about to show you Dota buff variations of builds, but the first thing I see is an article saying you might be playing Venomancer wrong, talking about how to play him as an offlane hero, and it goes on. The TLDR is that you don't play Venomancer like a typical offlane hero where you go gank other people and stuff like that. You instead play him as a hero who positions around towers and forces the enemy to come fight you, or you lose your tower. And I'm pretty happy to see that because I just made a video in the guide on that. Let's talk about the item variations. Here we go. So we're gonna look at some of these item variations. This game, we see Veil, Boots of Travel, 4-staff, Heaven's Halberd, Eggs. So this is an aggressive Venomancer who's doing a lot of magic damage with the Veil. I do like it. The Boots of Travel must have been a good game for this guy. We take a look at this one. He goes in a Spirit Vessel, Rod of Atos, then Guardian Greaves, Yules, and Shiva's Guard. So you're going to see a lot of variations, especially in the offlane, because the offlane is typically the core that builds what's needed for the team, dependent on the enemy team matchups and what the deficiencies are in their hero composition. So a lot of the times you'll see major variations in core gaming. Here we go. Another one, we see Bracer, Bracer, Wand, Guardian Greaves, Lotus, Heaven's Halberd. Now we got a Veil, Pipe, Solar Crest, Guardian Greaves. I do like the amount of Greaves. I mean, I really like Greaves on this hero. I also like the Spirit Vessel a lot. We see that get picked up quite a bit. This one's a little bit different. We see Phase Boots. Wow, this is just a completely different build. I have not seen that before. The Veil, Rod of Atos, 4-staff Hex. So this is lockdown, this is mobility, this is magic damage. We're looking really good. Here's another typical one right here. The Bracer, Wand, Greaves, Heaven's Halberd, Hurricane Pike. Hurricane Pike's really good for attack range and for the 4-staff. The 4-staff. 4-staff is really good on Venomancer. Another similar build, we see the Vessel into Guardian Greaves, 4-staff, late drums, and then Sanj and Yasha. Late drums are a really, really good item. Don't underestimate how good late drums can be. Like activation drum charges, crazy good in late game team fights. We see in here, we got some Tranquils into Veil, into Glimmer, Heaven's Halberd, Yules. A lot of very similar items, but we're getting a pretty good read right now on how the Venomancer is being played. Again, we see the Guardian Greaves, this time into a Crimson Guard and then a Ghost Scepter. What was he playing against? He was playing against a Terrorblade and a Monkey King and a Beastmaster. Yeah, okay, I can see that. The Crimson Guard I don't see picked up that often, but it is, again, another way to pick up the tank items that your team needs. Which Veno does. And then again, more typical one, the Spirit Vessel into Guardian Greaves, Heaven's Halberd, and it looks like he was probably going into the Force Staff later on, maybe or maybe a Yule Scepter. He could have been going into a Yule Scepter. Yule Scepter most likely there. So we see a bunch of item variations right there. Now let's jump into hero considerations. What are you worried about as Venomancer? You are worried about levels 1 and 2, mostly level 1, because all you have is Poison Sting. You're using it to harass. You don't have Venomous Gale yet. Sometimes you can get Venomous Gale. Don't get me wrong. Getting Venomous Gale at level 1 if you have potential to kill is good. But usually you're trading, so you want to hit people, let them tick damage. If somebody has a lot or a good early game combination, you want to be really careful. I'm thinking, let's say hypothetically you're in a lane against a Witch Doctor and a Juggernaut. If he right clicks you twice, Witch Doctor right clicks you once, then he gets a cask and he spins on you, you're dead. You're for sure dead. So you have to be really careful in the early game. You want to be careful against heroes who also have good initiation or close distance closing maneuverability. So heroes like Phantom Assassin, heroes like Spectre, heroes like Riki, heroes like Slark, these are really tough to deal with because they have the ability to close lane on you. Now, the other thing that you have to worry about is heroes who can dispel your Plague Ward or dispel a lot of your poison damage. So Slark with his Death Pact and Phantom Lancer with his Doppelganger, they can dispel a lot of the damage that you do to them. You got to be thinking about that for sure. Other heroes, well, let's talk about heroes that you're actually pretty good against. You're good against heroes that don't have a ton of mobility. That don't have a ton of mobility or aren't super high health. So somebody like Weaver will tick down a lot. If he doesn't have his time lapse, he's in pretty big trouble of dying to Veno wards. He's got low health, he can die. You do a lot of tick damage to someone like Phantom Assassin with your Poison Nova. Tick damage is also really bad, or Phantom Assassin really hates playing. Templar Assassin really hates playing against tick damage. When I think about heroes like Sven, until he gets an Agnum Scepter, he doesn't want to play around you. Now, the other thing that you're really good against is initiation heroes. So I'm thinking about heroes like Axe, heroes like Mars, heroes like Legion Commander, those kind of heroes who usually come in and blink on you to start the team fight, blink on your team and initiate a team fight, you stop them from most of their initiations because you place your wards in the perimeter and decide the boundaries of where your team is going to fight. That's how you're handling things. Now, that's kind of it for the hero considerations that I'm going to talk about, because overall, Venomancer is just super strong in the meta and can be dealt with, but the weakest part about your hero is what you try to make up with in terms of your item variations. So that is going, whether you're going to go for your pipe or your Crimson Guard or your Guardian Greaves or your Rod of Atos. Like, your item variations make up for what you lack in your draft. If you've got no lockdown, you buy your Rod of Atos. You want to make yourself stronger because you're squishy, so you buy the Guardian Greaves, obviously. And that's how you have to think about it. That's probably it for our hero considerations right now. Thank you all for tuning in to the Offlane Venomancer guide. I've been having a fun time playing this hero. I hope you give it a shot. Let me know what you think. It is really annoying to play against. It can be hard to get used to. The last hitting is a little difficult. The Gale is kind of hard to get used to if you're newer. But once you get a couple games under your belt, you'll probably really feel the power of a strong Venomancer. And I'd love to know whether or not you're able to win games with the hero. Until next time, guys, one love.